Hey guys, how's it going? I got my sonic screwdriver here, my only one by the way, and I thought we would go over the top 10 villains in Doctor Who. This is gonna be from the first series. This is gonna be from Rose to what was the last episode of Revolution of the Daleks. Um, but yeah, let's do it. So number 10 is gonna be the Teller. Now, if you're not aware, the Teller is the villain. Well, not the villain, but um, the main threat. Um, all of these aren't going to necessarily be villains, but they are going to be the threats that they have to face in the episode. So I am using the term villain very loosely here, but it still works. Hear me out. Number 10 is the Teller from Time Heist, the main threat that, looks into your mind and sees any sort of, bad intentions, I want to say. And yeah, basically just leaks your mind out of your eyes and makes you cry your own mind, as Peter Capaldi said. But the Teller is on this list mostly because, again, of the threat it poses, but also because of the impression it made in just that one episode. Perhaps if it had come back, I have chicken korma on my shirt apparently, but if it came back, then there would be no point in bringing it back because it's had its one story. It was great in that story, so leave it alone. Don't do a Weeping Angels and just run the whole tank dry. So number 9, whatever you want to call it, is going to be the Autons. Yes, the Autons who came back with the show to re-debut the show, if you will, with Rose. Now, I only put them on here because they had to sort of be here regardless where they were, whether they were 10, whether they were 9, whether they were 8. They had to be somewhere on this list. Now, the Autons in the other show that were controlled by the Master was better than these ones. However, the real threat, the real proper threat comes from two places. Where they were in the middle of the shopping centre killing everybody, which was a great way to start a show, as I said in my last video, but also in the Big Bang, was it, where where the Autons were there, creating the entire Roman Empire from Amy's memories, and then Rory ended up becoming one and killing her, killing off a companion. So yeah, those are the two sort of places where the Autons come into this list just about. Number 8 is going to be the Beast. How can you not have a villain? And yes, I say villain because this is a villain. Not named, but designed after the devil, and not have it be one of the most powerful entities in the entire universe. And this is what makes it onto this list. The whole possession of the Ood, giving them red eye, was just perfect. The whole thing about Toby and his possession was great. Just the way that even though he was been locked up for billions of years on Crop Tor, being threatened to being chucked into a black hole, was an amazing idea for an episode. And the Beast, every single moment that the Beast either took control of with the Ood and Toby, or the whole Beast actually being in the chains, and the whole monologue that David Tennant had in there, and any villain who lets one of the Doctors, whether it be Capaldi, who mastered it, Tennant or Smith or anybody, any of the Doctors, monologue like that deserves their place on this list. And no, that sun planet from Rings of Akaten is not going to be on here, because even though they allowed Smith the monologue, I don't want to get on with that. So let's go to number 7, and number 7 is going to be the flood. The flood from another Tennant episode. This one wasn't a two-parter. This was a one-parter on Waters of Mars. They basically took over the entire base just with a few drops of water. And the threat level comes from not only the people being possessed and attacking the rest of them, but also two places. As Tennant said, water is patient. It will wait out there until you either suffocate, starve, or die of old age. So either way, you're either staying in there and dying, or going out there and becoming a flood. So, yeah, you're screwed either way. And number 2 is it only takes one drop of infected water to destroy an entire planet. And that means, yes, if it gets onto Earth, a planet that's 72% water, and gets infected into more humans, which are like, just the brain alone is 75% water. So if it gets to Earth, we are absolutely screwed. We are dependent on water. We go 3 days without water, we die. What if that water was infected? What if that water turned us into these floods? That would be species ending. That would be world ending. That could be even every single life force on the planet shut down by this flood. And that is where the danger level comes from, and that is where the number 7 spot on this list comes from. Number 6 is the Weeping Angels, just missing out on that top 5 spot because of the amount of times they've come back and ruined themselves. They're like an uncle, a bad stereotypical uncle at a Christmas event. Always comes back, even when you don't want them to. I've never had any uncles like that, but you know what I'm saying. They come back even when you don't want them to. They make a fool of themselves every single time they come back, and they should have just stayed at home. And this is the same with the Weeping Angels. They were great the first time. They were phenomenal in the first blink. That is the only reason they are at number 6 in the list, is Blink. If they had stayed in Blink, perhaps they would have been number 4, but no, they didn't stay in Blink, and so they're number 6. The Time of Angels and Angels Take Manhattan were great. Not great, they weren't good. They turned the Statue of Liberty into a Weeping Angel, for goodness sake. This is why I cannot get on board with the Weeping Angels anymore. Because the amount of stupid stuff they've allowed them to do is ridiculous. And you will see a theme going on here with the actual number 4 spot. So yeah, it was just ridiculous. And yeah, they also come in here because they were the ones that split Amy and Rory up from the Doctor. So there's that little bit there as well of their threat level. But apart from that, they're at number 6. Number 5 is one that I'm not going to spend long on because there was one episode and they only seem to have like 2 powers. So number 5 is the Vashta Narada. They were in the double episode Silence in the Library, and I can't remember what the second part was called, but yeah, they were fantastic in that episode, and I'm so glad that they stayed in that episode. They didn't become another Weeping Angels, and the fact is that they were supposed to be replaced by the Weeping Angels. That was actually supposed to be a Weeping Angel story, I believe, but something happened and they decided to put the Vashta Narada in there instead, which I am so thankful for because it is an amazing episode without the Vashta Narada or not. But yeah, the Vashton Armada really made it that much more dangerous. So yeah, they did a fantastic job there. And just the whole story was amazing. I might do an episode of top 10 episodes. But yeah, it was amazing. And an amazing episode to be locked into. And the fact that they can dissolve an entire person in like 2 seconds is amazing. And the fact that they can inhabit any shadow is just frightening, especially when basically this entire world is full of shadows. You turn off the light and there's a shadow. So, your entire room is basically a shadow at night. So yeah, there's something to think about when you next go to sleep. Number 4 is the Cybermen, and as I said with the Weeping Angels, the stuff that Doctor Who let them do was not good. It was out of this world, ridiculous. What episode am I talking about? I'm talking about Nightmare in Silver, of course, where they basically made them indestructible. They made them basically upgrade any threat they have to them, any way of defeating them. They basically get shut down, upgrade, and then are unstoppable again by that thing. So how on earth are you going to defeat an entire army of these things when if one gets defeated like that, the other one, they upgrade the entire database so none of them can ever get defeated like that again. How are you supposed to defeat a villain like that? You don't. You let the Cyber Planner do it. But yeah, and they made him super fast and all of this, and it was just over the top with the Cybermen and sort of ruined them a little bit. I do enjoy the episode, but if it was any other sort of like villain, that it would be fine. But no, not the Cybermen. And also the fact that they've played second fiddle to the Master now as well is a little bit meh. But will we see a resurgence in the Cybermen? Possibly, and I can't wait for that. However, their spot at number 4 comes from middling to below average episodes like Nightmare in Silver and Closing Time. I enjoyed Closing Time, but is it a very divisive episode? Do some people dislike it? Yes. So I'm going to put them at number 4. And yeah. However, World Enough in Time and Doomsday and the Age of Steel were all great episodes, and this is why they are at number 4. Also, they're one of the most recognisable villains of all Doctor Who history. Number 3, I have to put at number 3 because there is not going to be a list of top 10 villains or most powerful villains or anything like that. Well, I'm not going to put these guys in the top 5, and they are the Silence. I absolutely adore the Silence. They absolutely terrify me. But I think that's why I love them so much, and that's why I've decided to put them in at number 3. Their stories have all been absolutely fantastic, from Day of the Moon and Impossible Astronaut, the other way around, to what was it called when they were on Christmas and teamed with the Doctor. They were all fantastic episodes that were really enhanced by the Silence being there, even if you forgot they were there. And then we've got the return in, what was it, Resolution of the Daleks? No, it wasn't. It was the other one. It was, yeah, whatever episode it was. It was amazing. I cheered so loudly when they appeared that my dad came up and was like, "Are you okay? Did you fall over or something?" I was like, "No, I just jumped for joy because the Silence were on my TV screen yet again for the first time in like however many years." But yeah, I enjoyed that so much. But yeah, that is why they need to be at number 3. Number 2 is going to be someone I've mentioned a little bit in this episode in both number 9 and number 4, and that is the Master. The Master is basically the opposite of the Doctor. The Master is both a Time Lord and an evil one at that. I've really enjoyed every single reincarnation of the Master so far in the new series, whether that be Derek Jacobi's master in the first part. That turn was so amazing from the Professor to Professor Yana to the master was just unbelievable. So theatrical, so Shakespearean. It was amazing and really showed his talents as a Shakespearean actor, because that's basically what he does, what he specializes in. But also Michelle Gomez's portrayal of the Master and Missy, and going into this whole new arc of being good. But yeah, and then we've also got um, John Sims' Master, which was amazing with him and Tennant. It wouldn't really have worked, I don't think, with Smith or Eggleston. However, it did work massively with Tennant, and that is what I really enjoyed. Their pair and their chemistry was amazing, and his involvement in all the episodes have been great. But also the new one, I can't remember his name for the life of me. But yeah, um, I really enjoyed that so far. Every time he's been on our screens. However, there is one more villain who much surpasses him in not only episode quality, but also in stocks and in merchandise and in recognizability, and there can only be one, and that is the Daleks. Now, before lockdown, I was supposed to be making a life-size Dalek that I could ride around in. However, the problem is COVID happened, and we had no money, so we couldn't buy resources or anything. But once lockdown comes back up, once I got a job, then that would be the first project I get into. However, enough about me, and let's move on to the Daleks. The Daleks are the most recognizable villain in all of Doctor Who history, and there is a reason for that, because they are some of the best. Their Doomsday, um, their Doomsday appearances and everything were so immense. The war with the Cybermen. This is not war. This is pest control. I love that line every single time someone mentions the Daleks. I just have to utter that line. It is amazing. But also the Dalek episode where the Dalek came back. Rusty, wasn't it? No, Rusty was into the Dalek, I believe. But yeah, that Dalek arc was amazing. How it went from just killing everybody to Rose implanting the DNA from the genetic transfer and making the Dalek just want to feel the sun again and want to be free was great. And that whole redemption arc was great and everything. And then what was it? The episode that we had with Jodie Whittaker, I can't remember the name of the episode, was also great, and the way it turned the Daleks back into the one-man killing machine was amazing. The way we managed to see it out of its shell and the threat it posed while even outside of it was amazing as well. And yeah, I didn't mean for this episode to be so long. It might have to be uploaded tomorrow. But yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm filming this on the Thursday, if you didn't know, because I had nothing else to upload. And yeah, this is going to be way too long, and it's probably going to take me 24 hours to 28 hours if I end up uploading it on my 1 megabyte a minute, 1 megabyte a second Wi-Fi. So I'll probably wait until I get to my dad's to upload it on his 128 megabyte per second Wi-Fi. But you know, at least there's content coming out. But yeah, the Daleks, just top tier villains, and also it's obvious to the point of anticlimax, but who else was gonna be here? You know, who else was gonna be on the top 10 villains of Doctor Who other than the Daleks? You tell me in the comments below. And with that, I will see you in the next one. And as always, have a wibbly, wobbly, timey, wimey time. Goodbye.